So today we are going over the topic of finding key points and note making. Oh, why is it not working? Sorry. Alright. Paulson, could you read this?
After choosing sources and preparing an outline, the next step is to select the key points related to your topic. Key points are usually found in the first sentence of a paragraph and supported by restatements, examples, or details. This process builds on skills from summarizing and paraphrasing and links to organizing paragraphs. Focusing on key points helps you avoid copying full text and makes note-making more effective. 3. Finding relevant points. When preparing to write an essay, you have to search for information and ideas relevant to your subject. Therefore, the key points that you select must relate to that topic.
Right, so in order to get prepared in terms of the essay writing, I think it's very important for you guys to build and select key points related with the question at hand or related with the topic that you're given with, all right? So if you're given an assignment of writing like 3,000 essays on the topic of climate change, and you basically have to find the key points or the key ideas that are related with the issue at hand. It's very important after you find the key points, you have to be able to gather more information with building the examples or like illustrations, or you can actually restatement by making restatements by paraphrasing some of your key points. So we're gonna learn step by step how to find and write your key points. Okay, let's get started with page 50. Yeah, so let's go to page 50. It says, read the following article about financial fraud, underline the key points, and then choose a title for the article. Let's do this. What you have to do is you read the article, it's a short paragraphs, and underline the key points in each paragraph. And after you underline key points of each paragraph, you actually write down the title that summarizes the key points being underlined. Okay, Paulson, what's the key point of the first paragraph?
I choose World Wide Web, fraudulent email and websites,
Yeah.
and authentic websites.
What's the website? What's the website? Authentic? Is it? Who has the other idea? Alright, yeah. What about, can you underline, can you actually just tell me the underlined sentence or the phrases that you did?
Still money.
Yes, that's good, yeah. What about, Irina, what did you underline in the first paragraph?
World Wide Web, criminals.
Criminals. Alright. Yeah, internet scams. Yeah, so internet scam, cost of the internet scams. And the Fraud Research Center at Stanford University, that it costs $50 billion per year in the USA, right?
Yes.
So the cost of the fraud and the scammers are steadily becoming more sophisticated. So it's becoming more problematic. Okay, what about the second paragraph?
Victims.
Yes, who are the victims here? Most of the victims are?
Tax refunds. And
Yes.
fraudulent.
Yeah, most of the victims are wealthier, retired people, the first sentence. And
Emotional trauma.
yeah, they receive it. But then such people, if you can see the second line of the second paragraph, it says such people may be well educated, but often they overestimate their financial ability. So it characterizes the kind of people who are actually becoming victims for internet fraud nowadays. What about the third one?
Banks refuse to compensate people.
Yes.
The responsibility lies.
Yeah, so who will fund the compensation scheme? So who's responsible? That's very good. So if you were to summarize all of this, so the first paragraph basically says, the internet fraud is becoming more problematic. And the second paragraph is actually pointing out who are those victims. And the third paragraph is basically who's responsible, for the money being stolen by the internet fraud. Right, so the title will be
Just online scams.
online scam, right? Internet scam, the problems of the internet scam.
The growth of internet financial fraud.
Internet financial what?
Fraud.
Fraud, yeah, that's the most exact. So mine was the cost of internet fraud, but similar, right? Well done. Okay, let's go to the next problem. You're given this essay title, Can Changes in Social Behavior Contribute to a Reduction in Global Carbon Emissions? Illustrate your answer with a specific example. So this is a question that you're supposed to write about. So you read the following article and underline the key points that link to the essay topic. So you read the article in the box and you underline the key points in each paragraph that link to the essay title. All right? This is very important because when you actually write an essay, you will read a lot of sources. And you can't actually borrow all the ideas from the sources that you're reading, right? So you have to be able to find only the relevant information that's linked with your essay topic or essay question. So this is the exercise that we do for this purpose, right? So you actually find out the key points that are relevant to answer the question that you're given with it, answer the essay assignment, okay? Yeah. Alright, so let's have a look. So the essay title reads, Can changes in social behavior contribute to a reduction in global carbon emission? So it's related with the reduction of carbon dioxide emission, right? Yeah? And is related with the social behavior, changes in social behavior, right? So what are the points that are related with the essay title? Irina, in the first paragraph.
Environmental activists, polluting businesses.
Very good. So there are environmental activists using shame as a weapon against polluting businesses. And it's giving an example from Sweden, right? So you can actually use this fly scam, a Swedish word meaning flight shame. Yeah, you can use this Swedish example for your essay, but you basically have to paraphrase it, if you were to use it. And then what else is there in the first paragraph?
Customers should take the train on some routes.
Very good. So it's giving you a Dutch airline case like KLM. What else?
Worldwide movement.
Right, and that includes the Chinese consumers, right?
Environmental dimension.
Yes.
And trend of sustainability.
Yeah, and then new startup businesses, including Tesla. So it has actually a lot of points that you can actually use for your essay. But you can't actually directly just borrow the phrases and expression. You have to paraphrase it, okay? You have to make it into different expressions. What about the second one?
It's a long-term outlook.
Yes, very good. So investors is giving you a case of investment as well. Investors are actually looking long term, right? What about
COVID-19 outbreak.
yes, COVID-19 outbreak was an important incident, that brought about the consciousness. What about the next paragraph?
Fashion.
Very good. So the fashion industry, companies are being more environmental conscious, right? And so it's giving like examples of H&M and the
New collections of garments.
right, and then basically new collections of garments, including more environmental friendly materials. The next paragraph,
Vegetarians and vegans.
right? Vegetarians and vegan menus for big franchises such as McDonald's and Burger King, right? So you can use these examples, and it's also referring to locally sourced dairy products, but it's actually questioning whether it's effective or not. What about the last one?
Historical precedents.
Very good. So it's actually giving you historical incidents where environmental factors were in place, right? So when you read, you basically have to underline any of the points that you can use for an essay. So this is how you build up in preparation for note making. So that's why we're going into note making process. So say you're given this essay question, which is asking you about the reduction, how we can sort of reduce the carbon dioxide emission through various means, right? And then you go into the library and you find out like 20 articles of books, journal articles of books. And you read them through, you skim them through by reading the abstracts or table of the contents, right? And then you actually select 5 or 6 important articles or books that you want to read, right? And what you do is you actually underline any of the points that you're thinking to use, right? And then next step is basically doing the note taking. So when you read an article, you have to do the note taking for each of the materials that you're reading for essay writing. And let's see how we can do the note taking. Yes?
Note making. Why making notes? To summarize relevant points from an article or book. To aid memory in both everyday and academic work. To organize ideas for assignments, essays, or research projects. To compare and link sources efficiently.
Right.
To prepare for presentations, discussions, or exams. Using abbreviations saves time and space in your notes because consistent and clear you understand your own notes later. Learn academic abbreviations include users specific to written English.
Right, so I don't know whether I've told you this or not, but when I was studying in Oxford, I had to write 2 essays per week. And one of the so for each of the essay, I had to read more than 10 books or articles. And what I did was I actually took notes of every single article or the book that I read, because it actually helps me to organize my ideas. And also, when I was preparing for my exams, I can go back to the essays and also the notes that I took, so that I can, for this academic writing course, you don't actually have to do a lot of note taking because we're actually going over the textbook. This is a very basic course. But for my other classes, which include like area studies and communications and like international justice, we actually go over various texts. In this case, my students actually take notes for the materials that they're reading. And it's very important that you do learn or you actually frame your own note-taking style. Different students have different note-taking styles, and I think the freedom to create your own note-taking style is very important. But you can actually refer to how other people do the note-taking and then borrow some of their techniques. So for this purpose, it's very important that you learn how to do the abbreviations, like PhD and stuff like that. English language has a lot of abbreviations, so we're actually going over the abbreviation that you can use for your academic writing. All right? So let's go to page 49, which is the very first page. Go back to the first page. And it says, why make notes? So what are the main academic uses of note making? Add to the list below. So the A is written to summarize the relevant points of an article or book, and it has B, C, D, E in blank. So you write down the purposes of note taking, 4 different reasons that why you have to do the note taking here. Let's do that. Oh, actually, I wrote it. I wrote them down here. Okay. But you can actually write them down in the worksheet. Okay, let's move on. So what are the principles of effective note making? Rina.
Make it yours. Create your own style, but follow clear guidelines. Avoid
Plagiarism.
plagiarism.
Mm.
Use your own words. Don't copy exact phrases. Adapt to the task. Quantity of notes depends on purpose. Few points versus detailed. Record sources. Saves time later when writing references. Keep it simple. Write quickly. Avoid full sentences. Drop articles, a or there, and prepositions. All
Right. So you can actually create your own style, but there are like a key guidelines that you can follow. So when you're taking notes, try not to jot down the exact phrases. Like try to write down the key points in your own languages. Because if you were to just paraphrase key points in your notes, you can actually use those expressions or the sentences into your essay directly, right? But for me, when I was doing the note taking in Oxford, I directly just wrote down whatever was written in the textbook. Because at that time, I was not I'm not a native speaker. So the reason that I directly just copied the expressions was because I wanted to learn how good writers, good scholars write their own ideas. So I wanted to sort of borrow their writing styles. So that's why I did the exact copy. But for you, I mean, it's up to you. So you can just write down whatever is written in the textbook, which you think is important, and then you can paraphrase them when you're actually writing down your own essay. So that's one way. Or the other way is you can paraphrase the key points in your notes, and then you can use those paraphrase expressions for your essay. So there are two ways, and you can actually pick and choose whatever suits you better. And also the quantity of notes depends on your purpose. So for me, like when I was preparing my notes for my essay, I had to write 5 pages long. But I read like how many pages? I don't know, I can't even count. Maybe like more than 1,000 pages. So in this case, I tried to minimize my note taking because I'm just writing for 5 pages. So if I were to make too long notes, then it just makes things more complicated. So if I found an article that's like 20 pages long, but it has a lot more relevant points on the essay than say 200 pages long book, which has little bit of information that you need, then you actually make a more lengthy note on the article, 20 page long article than 200 pages long book. So you basically tailor your length and also your style according to the purpose and then according to the relevance of the article or the materials that you're reading. And this is very, very important. When you make notes of any of the sources, you write down the references exactly, right? So you're writing a journal article, then you basically write down everything. You know, not everything, but you write down every detail of the title, all right? And it's the same with the book or any other online sources. So for online sources, you write down the website address as well, right? It's important because you never know how you will use that source later. And it's very important that you actually write down every detail of your title so that you can refer it back later for good, easily. Because a lot of times when you actually make notes, you never know how you will use the notes for later. Not only for your essay, but for your exam or like any like other essays, you can actually use the reference, the article, the book that you read for another essay. So if you don't have the exact source title, then it's just very difficult to paraphrase, or you can actually, it's very difficult to use the key points that you made notes for. So this is very important. Remember this. If you just write one sentence for your note, you basically have to write down the title exactly, the full detail of the title. All right, and then keep it simple. So try to minimize the number of letters or the expressions as much as possible. And that's why we'll learn how to use the abbreviation for different expressions, and you can actually write down phrases instead of sentences. And you can actually omit articles like a, the, or the prepositions of to, you know. As long as you can understand the meaning, you can actually omit these expressions, okay? All right, techniques for clear notes. Farhan?
Use structure, clear headings and numbering.
Mhm.
ABC 1, 2, 3. Don't overcrowd.
Right?
Symbols. Plus leads to equals to save time. Abbreviation. For example, government. Create subject specific ones if needed. Don't over abbreviate. Your notes must still be understandable later. Goal. Notes should be quick to write, easy to read, and useful for future tasks.
Right, so that's why, I mean, using structure is very important, but you can actually tailor the structure. So if you like using the numbering, that's good. But for some people, it doesn't really like it, you know, especially if you just use the computer, the word processor, they can actually do the structure for you. So for me, I don't really like using the numbering too much, but like my other friends, my Canadian friends, like she really liked the numbering everything. So it's up to you. You can actually choose if you were to number the points, or you can just write down the points in your own language. And like you're used to this, right? For example, like plus, I mean this symbol basically means leads to and equals. So instead of like writing down the expressions, you can actually use these symbols. It minimizes, I mean it basically saves time, okay? And we'll actually learn the abbreviation, like more abbreviations, like and do the exercise. So try to memorize as many abbreviations as possible so that you can actually make notes more quickly. Okay, let's do the exercise. Let's go to page 53. Okay, and do the. All right, that's good. So practice B. Complete the set of notes made from the relevant underlined points of can shame make people change their behavior in section 3 earlier. So we've read this article, right, before. And is shame an effective behavior changer? So that's the question. And we have A, B, C, D, E, F. A is already written. So we have B, C, D, E, F. 5 points. So find the 5 points from the article that we read, and you try to make notes. Okay? So you can use the abbreviation, you can use symbols, or you can actually omit some of the expressions like a, the, prepositions, and stuff like that. Okay, let's do that. Alright, let's have a look. So as you can see, Irina's is the longest. But she prefers to have full sentences. That's okay. If you can type very fast, I think it's still fine. Paulson has used the abbreviation and then the arrow, the symbol as well. So he's the most, like he has the shortest style. But then it's interesting that you guys actually chose like different examples. And it's good because you actually use different examples. Even though you read the same stuff, the same material, you can actually use like different examples or like illustration for your own essay, so that's good. So Farhan's is short as well. He prefers to use phrases. Chingy's is basically a combination of sentences and phrases together, right? So yes, good. So you can actually refer to other people's note-taking, and then you can take if you prefer any of their styles. But I think we have to. You guys have to learn more about the symbols and the abbreviation, and use them more often in the note-taking. Okay, so why use abbreviation? Whose turn is it? Alright, did you read it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, okay. back to
Abbreviations save time and space in writing and note making.
right.
Common in both general English and academic English. Forms of abbreviations.
Right.
Shortened words like boss, lab, memo. Okay. Acronyms pronounced as words like AIDS equals acquired immune deficiencies syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Letter sets, read letter by letter, USA, BBC, DNA, PTO, and notes. Sometimes the original word is still preferred. For example, refrigerator, place to fridge.
Right. So I mean, these are all the examples of abbreviations. So like lab is very much used, right? So instead of laboratory, and memo as well, memorandum, and acronyms like AIDS and like other stuff as well, so, and letter sets, USA, BBC. So like just get familiar with the meaning. We'll go through the exercises to get familiar with the meaning. So so you can actually use a lot of these expressions in your note taking. But it's important that when you write an essay, you only use the official abbreviation. So like USA, like acronyms and like letter sets, okay, but shortened ones, no, for extra essay. This is shortened words are only for the notes. But when you actually do the academic writing, no shortened words. You can use acronyms and letter sets, but no shortened words. All right. So what are the common academic abbreviation? Chinggis.
Degrees and education. BA, BSc, LLB, MA, and
MSc,
SSC,
PhD.
PhD, PG, UG.
Right. What is BA? Guys, what is BA? Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, LLB is law. Oh, I forgot. I think it's in the textbook, so you can have a look. MA is Masters of Arts, Masters of Science, Doctor of Philosophy, PG is postgraduate, UG is undergraduates. If you further education, higher education, postgrad certificate of education, because that's a British expression, Americans don't use it. Institutions and terms.
Institutions and terms. CV,
Curriculum vitae.
curriculum vitae.
Mm-hmm.
EU, European Union.
Mm-hmm.
UCAC,
Mhm.
Universities and Colleges Admissions Service. VC, Vice Chancellor.
Chancellor. UCAS is a British college application system. Fills in concept.
Concepts. GM, genetically modified.
Mm-hmm.
GNP, gross national product. ICT, information and communication technology. HRM, human resource management.
Right, so UCAS, you don't really have to know, I mean, it's good if you were to know, but PGC and UCAS are like British expressions, but except these two, you basically have to know them all. These are like a common abbreviation. So you have to memorize them, okay? Yeah, they're used often in academic writing, okay? All right, abbreviations in academic writing, Farhan.
General abbreviation often used in text. For example,
Yes, these expressions are actually used in academic writing. You can use these expressions in academic writing, all right?
that is compare, avoid.
So I full stop, E full stop, that it means at that tease, all right? CF.
CF, compare,
Mhm.
etc. Avoid in informal work.
Right, but then when you write down ETC, you have to do ETC full stop, all right?
ETAL and
At all. Yeah, that's at all. You actually say at all. This one as well, ETAL, you have to use the full stop at the end. It means and others. All right, so if you were to have 4 authors for one book, and it's like Sun Kim, we have 4 more authors in addition to me, then I can say Sun Kim et al. Alright? IBID?
IBID, same sources, OP,
Period? CIT? Period.
Yes, please cited,
Cited. It mentioned before.
FIG, figure,
This is used a lot, figure. Alright? And
PP, pages, ND, no date, ANON, anonymous. Other useful forms, ASAP, as soon as possible, NB, take careful notes, PA, per
yeah,
annum,
P period, A period.
VS,
Per annum. What do you mean by per annum? Annum. What does annum remind you of? There's an English word that's similar to annum.
Annual.
Ah, good. Per annual is like per year. Okay?
academic rule,
VS versus, this is common, alright?
academic rule always explain specialized abbreviation on first use.
Right.
Example, the technology
Readiness?
index (TRI) was introduced by Serman 2010.
Right, so if you were to use TRI, right, you always have to specify, right? You use the full expressions first. When you mention this for the first time in your essay, you have to write down the full name, all right? Full expression. And then followed by bracket, the abbreviated expressions and bracket, okay? And then afterwards, you can keep using TRI without actually specifying the full expressions. But when you use it for the first time, you always have to write down the full phrases or full name, right? Followed by the abbreviated expression. These are actually used a lot. If you were to read an article, academic article, these expressions are used a lot. So memorize it. Okay? Okay, let's do the exercise. Let's go to page 55. Right, so he has the list of it. LLB was, what was he? A Bachelor of Laws. Alright, so 55. Let's do practice C. A, B, C, D, E. And 56, F, G, H. Yeah, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. It has a lot of abbreviated expressions, so you write down the full expression. Alright, let's do that. Okay, let's have a look. Whose turn is it? Chingy? Did you do this? Alright, okay, fine. Irina? Okay, Irina. What is ICT stand for?
Information and communications technology.
Right? HE? HE.
Higher education.
Yes. Smith et al. What does et al. Stand for?
It's and others.
GN.
Generally notified.
Right? E period, G period. For example. Yeah, forestry. C and B.
Take careful notes.
Yeah, to note and HRN.
CV.
Oh, CV, sorry. Yeah, CV.
Curriculum vitae.
Yeah.
HRM. It's human resource management.
Right. What is C? C full stop. What does C full stop stands for?
How to read it?
C period. What does C period stands for?
Indeed, about.
Indeed, about.
About.
It means about, approximately. BCE.
Before common error.
Yes. PhD.
Doctor of philosophy.
TB.
Tuberculosis.
Yes. SE.
Southeast.
Very good. Okay. Fig. PGCE.
Postgraduate certificate of education.
PROF.
Professor.
Yeah, ASAP.
As soon as possible.
Very good. Okay, let's take a break.
Then
Yeah, 10 minutes.